What's up, guys? Joel here. And for today's video, I did a poll on my IG just, for video ideas. And what people wanted the most was tips for shoulders, right? And this is understandable, right? Your shoulders is like the number one muscle on your body that'll create your frame. It's what's looked at in bodybuilding competitions, even though, like, I'm not a professional bodybuilder and I don't mess with stuff like that. It's one of the most attractive muscles that women tend to look at first. So, of course, you're going to want to know how to grow your shoulders, right? And shoulder training is like relatively simple, but knowing, having a bit of know-how will skyrocket your progress, right? So, tip number one, right, for growing your shoulders is understanding that they have higher androgen receptor density. And because of this, they can kind of take more volume. In other words, you can train, and basically, in short, you don't need to know any of that. In short, you can just train your shoulders a little more often, right? So an example of this would be not to add a third shoulder day. I think 2 shoulder days is enough. But on your push day or your chest day, opt for more incline pressing movements over your flat pressing movements, because incline movements prioritize your front delt and they're easier on the shoulder joint. So you're getting like extra shoulder activation and shoulder work without it actually overworking it. You know what I mean? So for me, right, an example of this, where most people have like 3 chest exercises, right? They'll have like a flat bench press, an incline dumbbell press, and then a third movement that prioritizes their lower pec again, right? Which may be a chest fly or a flat chest press. But for me, and what I can recommend is, out of your 3 chest exercises, make sure that 2 of them prioritize your your shoulders and upper chest. So it's an incline movement, right? So like an incline barbell and maybe a flat dumbbell. And then if you're going to do like a chest press, right, make sure it's an incline chest press. This just allows you to get a bit extra shoulder volume, and it'll make a huge difference. It'll make a really huge difference in your overall pressing strength and your front delt. Your front delt is not going to become overdeveloped. I've seen people say, oh, I have an overdeveloped front delt, and I look and it's not overdeveloped. I don't even think I have an overdeveloped front delt, right? It's not very easy to acquire one. So things like that, just prioritizing your upper chest movements that also hit your front delt more is key. It ties in with tip 3, right, which I'll get into later. And in addition to that, more on the high rep training, high volume training, focus on higher reps, specifically with your flying movements, right? Ideally, you want to be able to perform these with good form and good tempo and decently fast reps, right? So as you're like raising on your flying movements, it should be fast. And then going down should be moderately fast, but controlled and kind of robotic in a sense, right? So I recommend, like, on all your flying movements or your pec, like your reverse pec deck, your lat raise, your front raise, you stick to 20 rep sets, and that's perfect. You'll get as much blood into them as possible, and it'll feel great, right? And on your pressing movements, like your military press and your dumbbell press, if you want to go for a more strength approach, I'd say you can go heavy there, right? Like on my chest and back day when I do my military press, I do 185 for 5, right? So on your pressing movements, you can go heavy. Your flying movements, you can go lighter. That's it for tip 1, right? For tip number 2, it would be to try supersets and intensity techniques in general, right? But supersets, right? Now, the way I superset my shoulders and all my muscles in general is that I'll like do antagonist supersets, right? I'll superset a chest with a back exercise. So for shoulders, right, I'll like superset my front raises with my rear delt flies, or my military press with my lateral raise. It's not something I can really explain because I haven't looked into the science of it too much. But anytime I've trained with like a bodybuilder or somebody that's experienced or just has a crazy physique, they superset their shoulder exercises like that. It just allows you to get a shit ton of intensity in without fucking frying them. and the exercises will feel better. A lot of people have problem feeling like their rear delts. If you do this, like you start with a military press and a lateral raise, and then you do front raises and, your rear delt exercises, you will feel your entire shoulder burn. And a part of growing your shoulders, people say the burn doesn't matter, is feeling them and making sure you do get like a bit of burn in them. So you want to employ methods like that, just intensity methods in general, that will help get more burn into your shoulder and just help centralize more blood into them. You know what I'm saying? So I implore you to try it once. I don't care what the optimalists say. Try it once. Supersetting your shoulder movements like that. And I'll throw out my shoulder routine again at the end, even though I've posted it already, so you can see and try it for yourself. But try it. Trust me. Everybody who's tried it has told me it's felt amazing and they've made great progress. For my next tip, I would recommend you, and this mainly goes for your lateral raises, but to lead with your elbow instead of your wrist. In other words, this means your forearm, while you're doing your lateral raises, should have a slight angle down. Your arm should not be straight. It should be slightly bent, and your elbow should be the thing that hits the top first. Almost like you're imagining pouring out a gallon of milk upside down as you're raising your shoulder. This is just better on your joints, and this just allows you to activate your shoulder, your side delt a little bit better. And your side delt is your most important delt of the shoulders for creating that wide 3D look. So please, change your movement by leading with your elbows. It'll make a huge difference. One of my last tips, and this is not really a tip, but this is just a mistake to not make. One, ditch dumbass exercises like upright rows and Arnold press. Upright rows is just bad on your shoulder and wrist, and it's unnecessary, right? It can hit all your shoulders good, but you can do the same thing with a military press, or even better yet, supersetting military press with lateral raises. Don't do it. It's just dumb. You're gonna fuck yourself. Second is the Arnold press. Now, I can understand the Arnold press, but this is bad for so many reasons. One, you're crossing two separate ranges of motion while your joint is under tension. You're asking to fuck your shoulders up. Two, trying to argue that you're getting more of your lateral delt while doing this is dumb in every stretch of the means. If you have a military press and a lateral raise, or you superset it like I said, you're getting more than enough. You don't need to do that. You don't need to risk your shoulder for that. It's stupid. In addition to that, you're also not going to be able to throw up as much weight on there. It's a lose-lose situation in every way when you could just be training smarter. Just don't do Arnold press or upright rows. It's a waste of time. More on this mistakes tip is I would ditch the overly heavy lateral raises. Like if you cannot do a weight for 20 reps with good form and a good burn and not have ugly form breakdown, you should not be doing it. Train your shoulders smart and make sure you do a weight that allows you to get quality. Because when you do, like, I say, once you go below 12 reps on lateral raise, your form starts to break down and you bring in your traps a lot more. And you don't want to bring in your traps so much because regardless of your form on a lateral raise, your trap is going to be, like, recruited. You're going to recruit your traps on your rear delts, and you probably also have a trap exercise for itself. So it's better to keep your lateral raise exercises to your lateral raises. So don't ego lift. Beat 12 reps and above is what I recommend. I don't care what you hear from anybody else. I don't care if they got big shoulders from it. Just stick to higher reps that you can control. That's it. And for probably my last tip, it would be to take your rear delt training seriously. I kind of didn't take my rear delt training seriously, and I'm just catching them up now, but I did see like somebody that had really well developed rear delts, and their shoulder looked crazy. It kind of helps your shoulder from not looking blocky big, but more chiseled big, you know what I mean? So even though I don't like lifting optimally, I would suggest you actually do try to lift optimally on this. Like, in the sense that you pick a good exercise, right? I would say you can opt for like a cable rear delt fly, a bent over rear delt fly with dumbbells where you're on a bench and your arms is angled at 45, or my personal favorite is a reverse pec deck where you're squeezing. Your rear delt creates such a huge effect on your shoulder. I did not ever realize this, and I'm probably going to throw up some examples. But take your rear delt training seriously. And I know for a fact 99% of you aren't taking it as seriously as you could. I'm talking about being 1 to 2 reps within failure every set, 20 reps, squeezing your rear delt and feeling it every single rep. Trust me, this will make a huge difference on your shoulders. The part your rear delts play is so big, it's ridiculous. So I recommend a reverse pec deck, or you can do a bent over fly on a bench, like I said, with your arms at a 45-degree angle, or a cable rear delt fly. You do one of those, and you're good. One last extra little tip is to ice your shoulder joints. Your shoulder joints will probably take a lot of a beating, regardless of optimal training, regardless of safe training, regardless of proper form training. So, ice your joints twice a week. This will help them recover faster. This will help them not get that click when you bench press on your left shoulder or your right shoulder. You know what I'm talking about. It'll help them feel a lot more fluid, and they may even get more flexible. So I also recommend you stretch your shoulders. Get on a stretching routine, and I'll probably make a video where you stretch twice a day. This is a self-care tip. If you do this, you will notice that your training feels better, your range of motion feels better. You don't hurt your shoulders in a bad way as much, and your training is just going to go smoother. So ice your shoulder joint and ice your front delt. Ice your whole shoulder and upper chest, as a matter of fact. It'll just help you in the long run. Trust me, you will see what I mean. Trust me. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are all the tips for your shoulders. Thank you for watching. Let me know what videos you want me to do in the comments, as I always say. But my next video is probably just going to be gym mistakes or things I wish I knew. It's going to be a mix of gym mistakes and tips for beginners that I wish I knew. So, yeah, look out for that. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye-bye.